Zul, as we say in Numidia, the Amazigh, the Berbers, our greetings as such, Zul, as hi or as how are you. Why am I speaking about the Berbers of North Africa? It is to let you know that the Berbers whose land have been invaded by the Arabs and who transgressed against the Amazigh, the so-called Berbers, and who have massacred the Berbers of North Africa. And at certain point of that history, they had to run to the French to protect them against the Berbers, the slave traders, the Moorish, the Moors, who had to run to the French for a protectora to protect them from the Amazigh tribes who had revolted against their abuses and their confiscations of our lands and transgressions, racism, and the forced Arabization through a religion of the desert, the desert's man religion, Islam. Through that, through those combinations of Arabization, Islamization, occupation, massacres, starvations, deprivations, negligence, and aggressions against the Amazigh of North Africa by the invading slave traders. During those times, and a part of the history, we have witnessed a holocaust of the Amazigh by the traders, by the slave merchants who had to invite the Spaniards to massacre the Amazighs with the toxic, carcinogenic chemicals that was dropped by the French and the Spaniards, as well as few American volunteers who have shamed America in engaging in such murderous prospect of mercenaries. And this episode of the American pilots who volunteered to kill children and the mothers and women and children, including animals, by dropping chemicals or toxic or carcinogenic gases on that population in the reef. So here we mark a part of history that witnessed a Holocaust in the reef, and that should be brought up and should be analyzed, and it should be judged for its merits, guilt, crimes against humanity, and disclosure to the victims of the tyrannical colonialist regimes who have been invited and brought in by the Arabs, slave traders in Morocco. Now today, today, 2018, when we talk about these crimes, when we accuse the Moroccan fascist regime of slave traders, criminals who are engaged in a pedophilia business, as in the pimping of children, and prostitutes, drug dealers at a high level in a state-sponsored drug trafficking and drug facilitating in the international arena, there is, as well as terrorism, promotions, since they push the kids, the poor kids, and since they program them in their mosques, where the mosques are the tools of the oppressors. The mosques, the Islamic mosques in Morocco, are the perfect tools of brainwashing, conditioning, educating the kids, the poor kids actually, because those are the ones who are easy to recruit. These poor kids have been indoctrinated in a hatred, in the Islamic barbarity, savagery, hatred, and the teaching of the heathens. A programmation or programmation of a generation to hate anything that is not Arabic or Islamic, fanatic. Today, when we object, when we oppose, when we criticize, when we speak out against the Arabs' tyranny, the Arabs' savagery, the Arabs' injustice, the occupant Arabs, don't forget, the occupant, savage, hypocrite, criminal, terrorists, Arabs, the crew Arabs who occupy North Africa. When we do speak against them and when we do criticize them, I don't see why Google and Facebook would object by blocking us and subjecting us to silence. I'm wondering and I'm questioning their conscience or their methods. Are they in the take? Is Google, with its YouTube and Facebook, with its commercials, are they in the take? Are they also guilty just as well as the terrorists, as the fascist regimes? Are they? Question remains. And it begs an answer. Now, we move on to the unacceptable Moroccan fascism. We move on to their crimes against humanity today, where they have kidnapped a population from a reef, from Al Husayma, kidnapped them. Were about 3,000 people. Some people say they are 5,000. And they took them away from the Amazigh land inside to Casablanca, a city that was known to be the hub of the French occupation and the French colonization, a city that has been built for the French turncoats. We could call them turncoats because they were mercenaries, Moroccans who served the French occupation and who have served their slave masters, this family of Alawite, who has an extensive history of slave merchants. To make this video short, although the subject matter requires volumes and hours, and yet we will not even touch the surface, for the matter is deep and the subject is old and it has so many tentacles. What we have in Morocco is a tyranny, is a tyrannical mafia, fascist, totalitarian, slave merchants, slave masters, to make it short. They have been abusing that population. Their tool amongst fanaticism and Islam, they are using starvation, hunger, negligence, abuse, insults, dehumanization, humiliation, provocations, aggressions, and yet they will constantly remind you of their impunity, lack of justice. They will constantly remind you when they threaten you, as they have been threatening me, with physical elimination, as they have been threatening me with torture of all sort of and of all cruel and heinous ways, as they have been doing and practicing. They are well known for raping their victims with bottles. And it's a common practice in Morocco. It is up to the international community to object to such tyrannical, savage, and called for methods. So I do blame, in all sincerity, I do blame the international community for not standing up to the Moroccan Mafia, regime of thieves and thugs, regime of criminals, regime of dictatorship and fascism and totalitarianism. A regime and its mafia who are robbing that land of its riches, including 1 million tons of gold that disappeared, including billions of tons of phosphate that are disappearing, including diamonds, gas, as well as petroleum, copper, silver. Morocco is supposed to be the second in the world as a silver miner, or a silver exploiter, or silver exportator. Morocco is a mafia, is a tyrannic, is hell on earth. Morocco is a jail. Morocco is run by thugs who are constantly intimidating and constantly torturing people who have spoken or criticized this tyranny. Morocco needs the international observers. Morocco needs human rights. Morocco needs, the Moroccan people need your help. This video is in regard to human rights violations in Morocco. This video is in regard to dictatorship and tyranny and crimes against humanity. This video would not be the last. There will be more. We will follow. Thank you very much.